The supplement industry sold us this idea that you need 12 different synthetic pills in order to feel and perform your best every single day. And as someone who's been in the industry now for a couple of years, I can tell you that this is very far from the truth. Now, are all supplements worthless? No, of course not. It is harder than ever to get optimal nutrition just from diet, and I'll get into that more in a second. But if you clicked on this video, you probably have some sense that the wellness space and supplements in particular have become sort of ridiculous. So I'm Sebastian. I am the founder of OMNI11. We make this freeze-dried, concentrated whole food blend. It's kind of the first product of its kind in a sense. It's this crazy mix of like beef organs, colostrum, bone, wild harvested berries, soil-based bacteria, and a bunch of different things like this. And the idea I had behind this is to almost make like a supplement that isn't a supplement. And so in this video, I'm going to share my journey of how I came up with this idea, the different problems that I saw in supplements and nutrition that sort of led me to create this product. I actually grew up in Sweden. I had a very organic upbringing, I would say. My mom cooked all our meals. Most of it was organic. I also spent a ton of time outside in nature. I always played sports. I was actually on track sort of to become a professional athlete, but I got injured around 16 years old or so, which put a stop to those sort of plans. But yeah, always super active, super fit and healthy, very, very connected to nature. And I realized now in retrospect that this background led me to be much more interested in nutrition and what's going on in the body than I realized at the time. So it was just sort of a natural inclination for me. And when I looked at the world and other people, I could always just see this very clear gap between how our bodies are meant to work, the environment that we are meant for, essentially, and the way that we live today. This is not like a new idea. There are a lot of people in like the health space, the ancestral health space that think this way. But this just came so it's like ingrained into my spirit, essentially. And I think if you look around, just think about this yourself, all of the restaurants, most of the products in a supermarket, like how the food system works today, it's really, really hard to get super high quality nutrition. And on top of this, obviously, we are exposed to, all these pollutants, chemicals everywhere, basically. We are inside and like exposed to artificial light all the time. We don't spend nearly enough time outside in the sun so we can produce vitamin D. I'll make a video on that later. But like, there's just this huge discrepancy. And actually the data really backs this up. Almost every single person now either has a nutrient deficiency or they have inadequate intake of at least one nutrient. So it's like they're on their way to becoming nutrient deficient. And of course, if you are nutrient deficient, your body will not work the way it's supposed to. And this for me is what drives me personally, is that I feel like our time here on Earth is so short, and I just want every single person to have at least a shot at experiencing what it's like when their body and mind works at 100%. And personally, I've always been an optimizer in this way. I always wanted to get the most out of every second of every day. And so I used to take a bunch of supplements myself, but I pretty quickly started to question this, and like something about taking a bunch of pills every single day and like being super obsessive about your health like this, it just didn't feel like real health to me. And somewhere inside, I think mostly because of my upbringing, I always knew that like real health should be more simple, more intuitive, and more natural than taking 15 different products every day. And I always loved the idea of this like one simple product that you could take to be as healthy as possible, have energy, the way you're supposed to. So, I can go out and do meaningful work, go surfing and skiing with my friends, which is like all I want in this life, really. And the problem that I saw with all these other all-in-one products, they were based on synthetic nutrients and plant-based ingredients most of the time, because that's been the narrative for a long time, that like plant-based is the most healthy thing that you can do, blah, blah, blah. And they also contain a bunch of added sweeteners and colorings and all of this stuff that I don't want in my body. I really believe that we should be getting nutrients from whole foods. The problem really isn't that we need more isolated synthetic nutrients made in a lab. The problem is that it's really hard to consistently get super high quality foods. And at the time when I started to think about this idea, I also came off the back of like basically failing on my last business. I was at rock bottom, you could say, and I really, it was the first time in a very long time that I just sort of stopped caring about what other people thought or like what I should do with my life. And I really just wanted to create something, like create the product that I want for myself. And I had this vision of this new type of supplement, you might say, that had, instead of all these synthetic isolated nutrients that we all see in typical supplements, it would only have the best ingredients from nature, the ones that are most sort of missing in modern life, that are rare or hard to find, whether that's from animals, plants, mushrooms, or even the soil itself. The product is not like, this is not a completely new idea, that there are other whole food based supplements. It's more of a subtle shift in how we think about supplementation that I believe is more natural and like sort of a return to what we should be doing. And at the time when I started working on the product, there was nothing in the market like this. Now actually there are a couple of other brands and products that have a similar approach, I would say. In my opinion, they don't come close to what we've created with our product, but I love seeing it. I love seeing this trend. It took me like over 14 months of, trying to find manufacturers, doing a bunch, like I did months of research on all the different ingredients. Like I had basically 70 different ingredients that I was investigating, and then narrowed it down to now 30 in our new blend that's coming out. And this was based on tons and tons of research on studies and stuff, and then also talking to my network of like industry leaders in the sort of functional medicine, natural health, and performance space. So I really think we created an insanely well balanced and well thought out blend. We ended up launching in January this year, and it went really well. We sold out in like 4 months or so. Then we got super screwed by our manufacturing partners. So we've actually been out of stock for pretty much the entire year since then. And so that's been a big bump in the road. That's been hard to deal with, but we are now on our way back with a product that I would say is like 10 times better than what we first released. So I'm so excited about releasing this. And that's how I ended up here. So I'll be posting every week on this channel. Obviously, I want to attract people who are interested in our business and our brand, but I'm also going to share a bunch of tips and advice on how to feel and perform your best without all this synthetic nonsense, like these shitty products that you don't need. I deeply believe that we humans have basically superpowers locked inside of us in our DNA. I believe we are meant for so much more than most of us are doing and seeing in the modern world today. But I just believe that there are so many factors that are sort of preventing us from accessing that potential. And so the goal of this channel is basically to help you access that in a simple and natural way. If you would like to do that, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.